Okay, what we've got here now is yet another dinky toy plane. It's the York, and here's an example of one. Nice one. And here, over in this Mechano magazine, we have the advertisement. The York dinky toy is one of the first new dinky toys that Dinky produced after the war. There it is there, therefore York. The other one's the Tempest, Meteor, and the Viking airliner. So some of the models, like the little flying boat that was, and the Gull, they were produced after the war, just using the old dies from pre-war. So anyway, what we've got here is a little more stuff. Here's the Empire Youth Annual, always a good thing to refer to. And here is a York. There you see, flying along some of the main routes. The York is sort of an unloved plane in a way. You don't see much reference to it, but it was very much used. This is an upside down map, by the way, in case you're wondering. Very much used during the war and immediately after the war. It was used to transport folks around. Oh yeah, the other thing about it, I guess it was based on the Lancaster bomber. You can see it was the Lancaster bomber wings and 4 Merlin engines, 4 nice Merlin engines. So, and it was used to carry people such as Churchill, other VIPs around. So it was heavily used. Also used during the Berlin Airlift, and apparently it had some reputation for Berlin Airlift was 48 and 49, and it had a reputation for engine problems. They knew it as the best 3-engine transport around. Oh yeah, and the other little bit of information, Trafford Leigh-Mallory was killed in one, 14th November 1944, and that was, he was a big noise in the British Air Force. So anyway, here's some examples of Yorks under service. And yeah, there you go. So the other thing we can tell you about it, the models, the dinky toy models are pretty simple. There's only 2 variants that we're aware of. The model was Dinky 70A and 704, and it was made from 1946 to 1960, 14 years. And okay, we'll just take a look at the, oh, and the last York, real York, was retired in 1964. So anyway, what we have here is the York itself. You can see, here's a box, here's another box. This was the early box, a little more utilitarian than it got to later. And here's the second type of box here of a York airliner. And inside we have a nice York. This sort of reflects, or literally reflects, some of the qualities that dinky toys had that appealed to kids so much. We tend to see older dinky toys now with worn paint and chipped and looking pretty darn sad. But this is, even though it's a sort of boring airplane, it was desirable to kids. I still find it desirable. And what we have here, this is the earlier version. And how is it different? Well, it's got a narrow tail here. It's a very thin tail. The other or the second model variant had a much thicker tail. I don't know whether you can see the difference, but it was just more substantial. Plus, on the underside, the earlier version had 3 rivets like that. The later version had a hole and 3 rivets. And those are the main differences. Let's see, and so, yeah, and here's another slight variant. It's not really a variant, but it just was issued in the United States. And that just shows that was sold in the United States. And so the other thing that's sort of interesting to see on these models is that all the dinky models, if you blew air on them, see if you can get that going. Whoop. Well, so much for that. Those don't seem like real props. Let's see if we can do it here. Oh yeah, there we go. So if you've got a real dinky toy with a real dinky toy props, they will spin in the wind. Well, that's sort of cool. There was a kid, you know, holding that dinky toy plane out the side window of my mum's old 47 Dodge in the slipstream, and all those propellers turning. That was as cool as you could get. That was pretty neat. So, yeah, I guess that's it. As I say, they're nice models of a sort of unremarkable plane, but it did have a place. And oh yeah, the other thing too is some of the models have a blue sheen. Oh, yeah, here we go. This one does. Your one. There's the sort of blue cockpit and observation dome, navigation dome. Yeah, so that's it. You can see a lot of Merlin engines. Went to New York. I actually talked to a stewardess from one of them, and she decided to be quite old. She said it was pretty darn noisy as a plane. Not a nice one to serve coffee, tea, or me on. So, anyway, there's the York. Yeah, we'll see what else we can dig up. Thanks.